Good morning. Here we are, cabin, day 2. I'm going through and just like draining the brain, writing the things. Somebody asked me yesterday, am I following a process? No, I'm just sort of following all the things that I've done over my 25 career, how I would coach people, the advice I've given, how we've built our business. So a conglomeration of a lot of things. Um, and then I kind of fast forward and I think about what is it that I want to come out with, right? And there's 2 things that I've written on a piece of paper, and they've just been bugging me for a long time. And one of them is when people ask me what I do, I don't know how to answer it. I don't have a clear Clark does. It's just been complicated. It's like, I'm a software engineer. I run events. But does that mean I'm in hospitality? I'm not an event planner, but I like community. But I'm an engineer. Like, it's just been too fucking hard. And when I think about this whole, like, where are we going? What are we going to do? I then think about how others interact with one. And I think, where in the conversation does somebody go, hey, I got a guy. You need to call Clark. Or, oh, call Clark. He's the... And I want to be able to walk away here Thursday and say, like, I'm your guy and this is why. And these are the things we do. And so I've just really struggled with that long before all the shit that's happened. This has been going on for many of years, because I don't identify as an event planner. That was just sort of the means to what we were doing. And hell, if we could have afforded one, we wouldn't have been one. But so that's kind of one thing. Before I even came up here, though, I sat down with Google Gemini one night and was just asking questions. And I really wanted to see where it would go. Like, I'm into AIs. Let's use the AIs. Let's see what the AIs say. And so I was like, okay, why don't you help me understand my Ikigai? And let's go through passion and past and this and that. And I spent hours with this damn thing. And at the end of it, I got an answer that I've gotten many times over from many people, which was, yeah, be a solutions provider. You have 25 years of software engineering. You've worked with some of the biggest names on the planet. You've built SaaS, this and this web application in these industries and all this. And it was like, you're in a time of transformation of how we think about applications and solutions, and AI is coming, and you have all of this. So why aren't you the solutions provider for kind of systems and AI and leveraging AI, and how do you make current applications leverage AI? And that came out, and I was like, no, I don't know. Fuck that. No, you're wrong, AI. And I'm sitting here and I'm writing all the things, and I'm trying to map out stuff, and all roads keep pointing back to be the solution provider. Be the guy. Ask Clark. He's the guy. Hey, go call my guy. He can get you a thing. And last night I was sitting here kind of writing out the notes of what I wanted to say today. And for months, I've been saying, I don't want to start a consultancy. We've sort of had one. We've been doing it only to kind of make money. And so we haven't really put any effort into being a consultancy or a brand or this and that. And I was just sitting here last night thinking, why do you have such a problem with it? Why are you so pissed off about consultancy? And it dawned on me, when I first started at Microsoft, I was the consultant. And the thing that I hated was that I had zero control. And by zero control, I mean, getting a phone call on Friday telling me that I got to be someplace on Monday and get a ticket and book all your shit, and your life was like gone. There was no consistency. There was no like, oh, maybe you have something going on. And I wanted to be an active participant in not only the relationship with my wife, but also my kids and be around. And I didn't want to be on the fucking road all the time. And, I did that for years. And I just still have issues with that. But that was then. Today, I don't have an issue with traveling, right? My kids are in a different spot. I still want to be predictable, but the reality is I want to be in control of my time. I want to be able to make the decision of whether or not I'm to do that. And then it dawned on me, it's like, well, it's my company. I can do whatever I want to do, right? I need to kind of shed that trauma of the past. And then I said, well, then would that really be okay, right? Like it's 8:30 last night and I'm just banging this shit out. And I start going back to the things that I really like, right? Being of service. Well, if I want to be of service, well, then I have to be of service to somebody. Well, a consultancy really fits that, or an agency, right? I like to live in what's new and on the edge. Like I like the zero to something. I like figuring it out. I like understanding how it fits into the broader picture. And, a consultancy who deals with strategy and design and all that typically lives in the front edge of things, right? You're living in the new. You're figuring it out, because that's why people are paying you, because they're not figuring it out. It lets me be creative. It lets me collaborate with lots of different people and solve lots of different problems, sort of with either in the same like sphere of things, but you can start to like build on and build that credibility. And then, I just think about me, right? I like to have impact at scale. It affords me the ability to talk about it, record it, speak about it. I can even loop back in TC somehow and, have events and, but having that impact and leveraging the past experience that I have in the community and I've always been in this place where we've built that consulting work has led to us building products that fix little micro solutions in the big context of something. And I've always loved that. Like that's the whole point of software, is you build shit that connects or does. And the roads keep pointing me back there, and I sort of need to stop, I don't say fighting it, but maybe lean into it and understand what does our life look like as a consultancy. How do we create an organization that can have impact, or and that impact in lots of different ways, whether that's mass appeal on a place like YouTube, or individualized stuff with a company who has a very specific need, a niche, whatnot. And so, back to like, I've got a guy and that guy's Clark, if I was to internalize that to a statement, it's like we help some type of customer go from wherever they're at to wherever they want to be so that they can be this. And this thesis that I've had with AI sort of being the next coming of the internet, and how our applications are going to integrate more than they ever have before. I mean, this whole chatbot thing, it's all going to kind of evolve into something way different. But when you think about the next consumer of your application may actually be an AI agent or some AI process and not actually a human, there's a whole breadth of things that need to be sorted out and done. And I don't really like security, but just imagine the security implications of something like that. Either way, the trauma that I had in the past of being a consultant where I was on projects for months on end and being told that I had to work 100+ hour weeks. And like, that doesn't have to be the case. So I sort of need to deal with that trauma and figure out how do I make the thing that that works for me, for us today, for the customers in an environment where it is just different. Consulting, I guess that was probably, fuck, that was like 20 years ago now. Shit, I feel old. So like, where does it leave me today? Like, yesterday was a lot of kind of thought dumping, just things like, what am I interested in AI? How do I leverage like our EO organization? What are my just goals for being here? What's my ideal day-to-day look like? What's an ideal customer look like? What am I? What things do I really like? What else do I got over there? Content that I want to write about. How would I deliver proof? How do people think about us? How do they interact with us? What does a team look like that I want to build? Like, who are those people and why are they? What do I want to do from a day-to-day basis versus somebody else? And, where do I need help, whether that's partners or implementers? Just how do they complement the thing? And again, just sort of leads back to a consultancy. And I think Jason said it a while ago, which was, I had to really worked really well with customers, and I feel like I do. And I've long said that I sort of want to serve a market of the kind of small to mid-size market, the, I don't know, $1 million to 50 million, 500 million. Not that the upper bound really matters, but could I go play in the enterprise? Sure. The thing about the enterprise is, while there's big dollars, they also have big expectations, meaning big contracts, and they have partnerships with certain vendors, and you have to be subs and this and that. And like, there's all this other like bullshit that like, I either want you to work with me or not. And I've done enough of that, kind of try to play in the enterprise and sub through others. It's such a fucking hassle. I just don't want to deal with it. But anyways, all said, maybe some more clarity, maybe. Today, sort of trying to map out, what that looks like, getting closer to, an offering, a landing page. I say landing page. It's just that, how can I answer the question of, I got a guy, or, go call Clark, and really identify my experience and unique value against an ideal client of what we can do to solve the problems, and then just start kind of listing out what these problems are. So got a few things that I'm gonna kind of look at today. I'm gonna actually take a personality test, which has been I haven't done one in a long time, and I figure, let's just sort of explore. Let's see, refresh it and see where things are at. And but yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting just being batshit alone in a quiet place, just plastering stickies all over these giant glass doors. But all to say, closer. The purpose of coming up here: get away, get to a quiet place, zero distractions, sort of do the thing. The thing being the self-reflection, the introspection. What are we doing? Why are we doing it? Where are we going to go? Commit to doing it. Build a fucking plan and start executing on that plan very intentionally. I've let the past 6-8 months sort of be like, I'm doing freelancing work for you, you get priority, and then this other stuff is started to push to the side. And then I'm just sort of flipping a bit, like, this has got to be first, much like we did with TC, right? When that conference, we had a date, it was July, you had to get shit done. And now I'm just laying out the plan, we got to get shit done, and customers, and start doing. So it's day two. And Actually, that was day one, but today's day two. And I think the biggest aha moment yesterday was just had lots of trauma with the last consulting, and it doesn't necessarily need to be that way. So make it something different.